It's interesting you say that because I hear what you're saying, but isn't it true though that even though we know maybe in the end the consequences may be greater on this side than they are on the work side, but how many of you have a hard time really just grasping that in your head?
I know for me, it took a huge argument between my wife and I about 5 years ago when that was put in front of me, like, am I putting my work above my family?
Right.
It was a situation where the two people I report to were gone, and so I was leading the team that particular time, but my wife, we had just had our first child, and she was sick, my wife was sick, and that particular day I chose to stay at work versus going home. And coming home, we had a huge argument. But it was that day that I realized, like, wait a minute. At some point, I might not be working at this place anymore. Mm-hmm. But
still gonna be there.
I'm still gonna be my wife's husband. I'm still gonna be my daughter's father. I made a point that day. I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy that's gonna put work first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no secret to anybody that knows me. I work 80 hours a week consistently. And my marriage has struggled from it, but I have an amazing wife who puts up with it. So imagine yourself in a business and you get an email that pops up and you got a 1-star Google review or a 1-star Yelp review. Mm-hmm. That starts to eat at you. You know, that's me. That's all of me being judged for the world. I bring that home with me, and it never turns off. It never stops. So even to this day, I'm still trying to find like how to do it, because when I go home, I don't turn it off.
For me, I got my family on my calendar first. There you go. So I had 3 girls. I went on a date with them individually, and they were some of the most special times.
And you'd actually just book that on.
And I would book it on my calendar.
Right.
And so if it came up during the week, hey, can you see me at this time? No, I can't. I've got an appointment.
That's right.
Nobody has to know what that appointment is.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we don't go into it being intentional, then it will never happen. Yeah. You know what will happen? We'll get at the end of the week, hey, did you go out with your daughter? No, I didn't have time.
Yeah. I like the idea of putting it on the calendar, because then I'm in the middle of my day. I do this with my work. I look to see what's next.
Correct.
You know, I might prepare for that meeting or whatever, but it gives me something to know. I need to save some of myself for this thing that's on my calendar tonight. You know, for this weekend or whatever.
Right. And you know, with technology today, it's easy to leverage a digital calendar. Yeah. You share it with each other, and game over.
Right.
It's already there.
Yeah.
See, and actually my number one thing I do is I plug this in on my nightstand and I turn it upside down. And I leave it. I look at it one time. I'll go back normally around 8, 9 o'clock at night. Yeah. But I'll look at it one time. Are there calls that have to be returned? Is there an email or a text that has to be addressed right then? Right. But when I get home, my family knows. I mean, I intentionally even put it face down. And that's kind of just even a deal for me of it's off, it's done.
Yeah.
My wife and I sit down Sunday nights and do what you're talking about and plan the week. There was a counselor who made us write out our roles, write out our priorities, and then every week we have a weekly planning meeting. And balancing running your own business and having 6 kids and running around and investing in all these things, right? And so you take the priorities, the big rocks, the things that matter most, that when you wake up in 40 years you want to have done and invested into, and you put them first. Right? And only in crisis do you get them off. And then you fill in the rest of our callings after that. Yeah. And you don't have to do them all at once. No. You can pick one discipline and start there, right? I mean, that's always the big thing. Take one step. Like, okay, we're going to meet on Sunday nights and we're going to plan our week. Let's do that. Or I'm going to turn my phone off when I come home. Pick one thing and start at that point.